fantastic about Mathematica is that it's accessible to everyone. Even if you're doing very complicated advanced computer science things, you still speak the same language as the person just doing basic manipulation of data and plotting of data. So we're able to work in this really coherent fashion where when any one of us makes progress, the whole group makes progress. Emerald Therapeutics is a young biotech startup of 10 scientists and engineers. We're endeavoring to, in the long term, become an integrated biopharmaceutical company. Mathematica helps us by allowing the team to collaborate with data and processing methods completely fluidly. And in this way, we have an engineering team which will build some very serious mathematical tools, things to do very complicated statistical analysis, very complicated ODE solving for some of the simulations we do. But at the same time, that can get used by, say, the cell biologists who are doing things like image processing to count cells in their microscope slides and that sort of thing. It's also where we direct the activities of the lab. It's sort of a living document. So you can pass commands to your Mathematica notebook, and we've written libraries of code to do things like control our robotic synthesizer that way, and it can control our HPLC purifiers that way. So a lot of our expensive instrumentation in the lab is actually connected through the back end through Mathematica. So data flows into Mathematica, we set up experiments within Mathematica, and then we output them to the machines themselves, instructions on what the next experiment is going to be, all from within one platform, which is fantastic. You can't do that with anything else. So now I'm going to show off some of the functionality that the Emerald team has built on top of Mathematica for managing our experiments. So let's take an example of doing cell splitting, which for us is fully automated. In that case, we just send it a single command, which tells us, which our biologist has cooked up, and tells us exactly how we like to split cells on the particular robot, so that's what the star means. And we'll take a few inputs here. So say I want to split 4 plates and 500 microliters from each. Programmatically, it will then generate the run files to go in the robot. It will tell me what it is. This is experiment ID 87. So down at our star, we can go pick up experiment ID 87, and Mathematica has programmatically designed all of the particular robot movements involved in that script. It'll also tell me what reagents I should be loading on the machine, and it'll give me a nice little map of what's going to show up on the plates here. So in this case, this particular instrument likes to talk to an SQL database. And so Mathematica will just dump that information onto the database where it needs to be, and then the robot itself can pick it up and access it. So it's very cool to have access to all of those tools in the same place again that all of your data lives, so that your scientists are in no way restricted by what they can do. So we spend all this time making these fantastic internal presentations that are dynamic and interactive in our own lab notebooks, but then we can export them to CDF and we can share them with the rest of the world, particularly with investors and vendors when we want to show them particular things that we've discovered.